Hello and welcome to the AIM webinar series. Today's session is Identiv Smart Packaging Solutions for Pharma. First, a little bit about AIM. AIM is the Industry Association for Automatic Identification and Data Capture Technologies. We serve as a hub for quality resources covering all types of barcode, RFID, and mobile computing information. We also foster new auto ID innovations that stimulate market growth. We encourage you to get involved. If you would like additional information, reach out to us at info@aimglobal.org. And then a little bit about our antitrust policy. It is the policy of AIM to conduct its operations in strict compliance with the antitrust laws. No AIM activity shall create even the appearance of a violation of the letter or spirit of the antitrust laws. A few other housekeeping notes. All registrants are muted upon entering the webinar, but we still want you to participate. To send a question, select the Q&A icon at the bottom of the screen. We'll get to as many questions as possible at the end of the presentation. Also, a recording of the webinar will be available in the coming days to those that have registered. So as you can see on this slide here, we have the agenda for today's webinar. Our speakers will be discussing the challenges in smart packaging, benefits from the healthcare provider side, and then from the patient side as well. You'll hear about Identiv's smart packaging solutions and the value they provide. And then to finish off, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be having a Q&A at the end of the presentation. So please submit your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. All right, and then I would like to introduce you to today's speakers. We have Dr. Swami Subramanian from the Axia Institute. He's the Director of Business Development from Michigan State University. Lauren Miller, Director of Business Development with Identiv. Stephen Genzer, Director of Sales, RFID Transponder Solutions from Identiv. And with that, I'll turn it over to you guys.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Bethany. And good morning and good evening to all. It's introduced as Axia, coming from an academic background as a Michigan State University. And we are a little unique body as a value chain innovation center sitting in the middle of the organization. You can see on the right-hand side, the images showing there is a 4 flower petals, ACAP Center, Anti-Counterfeiting and Product Protection Center, College of Engineering, and MSc School of Packaging. It's one of the #1 top school. And also MSU is well renowned for #1 supply chain school in the US. With this, you can see how we are fitting into this particular webinar series. Axia is primarily working on a healthcare value chain consortium. Now I'm going to the left. Axia's approach is industry focused, industry centered. And we would like to resolve the challenges for the industry and a value chain. And sometimes we bring the problems and we go to the industry, or sometimes we ask the industry what is their problem and we resolve. And bottom graphics, we can see from the left hand to the right hand side, starting from suppliers to the end right hand side is the end users or customers. In between, the multiple nodes of value chain stakeholders. We address the problems across the entire industry, and it is through a consortium. We have a major 3 big consortiums as a healthcare, then food and agriculture, and a manufacturing. And this particular webinar, from a healthcare perspective, already Axia has a membership profile from healthcare providers, distributors, drug manufacturers, and solution providers, and everybody in this consortium. And today I'm very excited to share some of the insights and from academic neutral third parties view. I'm looking forward, and once again, thanks, and we will be sharing more information. With that, I'll pass it to Bethany.
Swami, I would just add there that in many ways what we were looking at, it's kind of a structure for an organization to build a digital transformation strategy within their value chain, especially with product packaging and smart labeling. So having a neutral organization like Axia that can evaluate process and standardize on technology platforms and approach is really important to achieving these outcomes that and goals of the organization. Stefan, if you would introduce Identiv for us.
Thank you, Lauren. So this puts us in a good spot. So let's also move to a short introduction of Identiv. So Identiv is a full circle IoT solution provider. We offer mainly transponder manufacturing on the active and passive side. We do this on a very diverse way, from BLE technology to low frequency, high frequency, ultra high frequency, dual frequency QR codes. So we are handling all kinds of identification technologies and wireless communication technologies like these. Identiv is a trustful provider who is independent from any other supplier in the market, and we can create solutions on the IoT side for anyone who has a specific needs. Looking into healthcare and pharma industry, I want to emphasize that we know that it's always a little bit more tricky, because we have very detailed and very demanding requirements from our customers, where we then need also very special resources to provide custom designs, to provide first demos, mock-ups. So the whole and big strength of Identiv of providing flexibility to our customers is a very big and important step for finding a solution around what is actually the demand of a customer. So Identiv still stands for high quality products in the market. We are well aware and well known in the whole industry from various consortia, just like AIM. And we are really happy to introduce our smart packaging solutions to you today. And for this, let's move to the next slide, which are the first challenges which we are facing in the healthcare industry. For this, we are taking a look at healthcare providers in the market. So after that, we will have a look on what smart packaging and RFID in packaging can help us with here. So healthcare providers, these can be any organizations or individuals like doctors, nurses, pharmacists, or hospitals. So, and they are facing mainly issues because, or mainly challenges because we have an ongoing staff shortage in the market. So less and less people want to work in these areas. And there's also a huge financial pressure in the whole industry. So looking at these basic developments in the market, we see that it's more and more difficult to provide efficient functionalities of products and to have efficient processes, which lead also to the fact that throughout the whole or all the stages of a product, of a pharma product, from its manufacturing, the origin, to the patient who is using it, it's very, very difficult to track this. So the whole visibility is getting less and less, because you need to have a lot of budget or a lot of people in order to make this, to provide this. So we have to find a way to automate this somehow. This whole lack of visibility also leads to the fact that there are difficulties in having stock overviews. So this is also something where you normally need to be always aware of what is currently needed, how much is left, when do we need to reorder, things like that. It's difficult to keep an eye on. And once this gets out of sight a little bit, we also face problems like medication diversion. So this is more or less if a product is used in a way which is not really what it's meant to be. So this can be either that you misuse a product, or that you even sell it, or that you get that you resell it somewhere else in the world. So a lot of problems or a lot of problems are faced by the healthcare providers right now. Beside that, there is also the fact that products provide a lot of information, but you would like to navigate or monitor who is able to access this information, or you would like to guide it a little bit to have to be able to get the information which is needed or which is even necessary. And this is just roughly outlining difficulties. Mainly it's the visibility over the life cycle of a product, where healthcare providers face a lot of difficulties, simply because this is really taking a lot of money and staff and people in order to make this happen. So I would like to hand over to Lauren and ask, where do you see challenges, or how can we tackle the challenges with smart packaging?
Yeah, thanks, Stefan. Good overview there. We know the UHF or RAIN RFID technology quite well from its large-scale deployment in retail and other industries. It helps to track products from the source of origin, like you mentioned, through the distribution and wholesale, all the way to the point of sale. It also has a key role in healthcare supply chain related applications like inventory control in a stockroom. One trend we notice is a shift in greater interest in dual frequency technology. This enables really the functionality of the longer read ranges with UHF and the near field benefits of web-based authentication and security with NFC and HF. So these multi-purpose tags that use one chip allow for greater flexibility in deployment, the ability to solve some of these tagging challenges while still leveraging high-speed encoding and the low-cost reader infrastructure of NFC readers and smartphones. So just as you can tap to pay with your phone, you can do the same thing to authenticate a drug, receive more information about the product like NDC, expiration date, and the batch and lot. And then we have the separate challenge of managing assets within a facility. For example, with items being misplaced or the location is unknown. There are various ways to solve these challenges. Swami, I don't know if you have any further input there.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Lauren. I mean, from these are the benefits, but from a healthcare provider aspect, I would like to add, as I mentioned very beginning, Axia is closely working with the healthcare providers, and we have noticed many times they are been bringing some of the issues or the challenges. For example, controlled substances, and that's being a major problem every time, as they need to make sure it's being tracked properly, it's being disposed properly. If those cases, smart packaging is the best solution, and that's kind of really it's compliance and also making sure it's not getting into the wrong hands, and addedly top of that, some of the data, for example, the data from GE Healthcare, it says almost like $4,000 per bed per annum. They are seeing a lot of things are being like losing. So it's not a stolen, but like they are loose tracking those things. So these kind of a smart packaging solutions going to help from a healthcare provider's perspective. But if you look at from the patient perspective, now in this century, and now everyone are well connected and they all started using a cell phone or any digitally, it's a tech savvy VR. And most of us are thinking, the reason I said most of us, the surveys is 80% of the public thinks these kind of a technology should be implemented in that healthcare, particularly pharma industry, to make their life easier and to make they want to feel more connected. And so certainly these kind of informations and through a smart packaging will be more beneficial. It's from a healthcare provider as well as the patient side too. Great. Yeah, thanks, Lauren. Certainly, these are things I'm seeing. And certainly in the coming slides too, I will be sharing as whatever I see from the insights from the healthcare consortium members or from a neutral as seeing literature and what's happening in the latest.
Thank you, Swami. For the next slide, we are going a little bit deeper into the patients related challenges anyway. So what we see here mainly on this side is that our society gets on the one hand older and older. That's where we touched also this lack of connectivity and how much responsibility can we take over to the patients, to the elderly patients, especially if they're not able to use wireless connectivity technologies right now. Simply because also treatments are not as simple as a one pill a day anymore. It's a little bit more complex, and that's where it also comes to the challenge to provide more and more individual information on products to the patients and only to the dedicated patients. So besides this whole aging society, also the individual responsibility when being at home and needing to taking the medication on your own is increasing. So it's like we all know it, the time we spend at hospitals being treated by nurses, by doctors is getting less and less. We are sent home much earlier. So this whole self-care is an increasing topic in the world. We need technology, we need ideas how to make this as simple as possible. The individual responsibility of the patient is increasing stronger and stronger. So also taking a look at the patient itself, how is he feeling having this whole responsibility? How can he still manage to follow the prescribed medication if there's like a lack of mobility, if there's any handicap? So Lauren, handing over to you, what do you see as benefits from smart packaging where we can support patients nowadays?
Yeah, I'll use the analogy of a shopper that goes into a Dick's Sporting Goods and buys a camping tent. The brand that makes the tent may not have a clear idea of how often they use the product, what information they may be lacking when setting up and using the tent. In the same way, the integration of NFC technology allows the drug manufacturer to gain important insight and data about how the patients are using the drug, what information they access, and have the ability to analyze this information to deliver an interface that improves the user experience and the health outcome and delivery. So NFC also allows us to add a level of security that's not possible with printed technology by adding security keys and algorithms to ensure the integrity of the drug supply chain. So one tag can serve many purposes within an organization depending on what information that they would like to have about how they can better support the patients and the associated safety and administration of their product.
Yeah. And before Stefan, maybe I'll jump quickly and a couple of things. As these kind of a smart technology is going to help in a additional way of supporting an industry, because I see it's the previously I mentioned from patients and healthcare providers. But if you once again, if you look at back from a value chain, the drug manufacturers and distributor, the smart packaging solutions are going to be an added value, as they will be an important thing, because right now we all hearing drug supply chain security and visibility, end-to-end traceability, everything. So these kind of smart packaging will be an important element from visibility and traceability. And it's not only traceability, if you look at from a operational efficiency perspective, when the drug is leaving the facility, any drug manufacturer facility, then it requires a huge workforce to really make sure it's being proper drugs are being palletized, it's leaving to the doctor, and from there right now it's all manually scanning each and every pieces. It's really, as I said, it's a huge workforce. And if you look at from a futuristic perspective, if we want to establish another drug line or another assembly line to really bring a new drugs out, it's the amount of workforce required to bring a new drug. It's a capital investment. These technologies are going to bring that 35% reduce the capital investment cost. So that's the data shows these smart technologies on packaging, it is reducing the 35% of the workforce required to make the system works. It increases the operational efficiency, and also it's giving an added visibility, the drugs moving from a manufacturer to almost a healthcare provider. These are the benefits. And from a healthcare perspective, and also the smart packaging going to be means we all might have seen a lot of lawsuits because the wrong medications given to the patients. So these technologies not only going to help the industry from a manufacturer and distributor, then also from healthcare providers. This will be a major thing they can avoid. Anything is a wrong medication going to the patients. So that's how we all see now it's a MyChart and so many tools. Even the November 2024, we are going to have the Drug Supply Chain Security Act, it's rolling. And these smart packaging solutions are more value across the entire value chain. And certainly, and right now I'm seeing that Stefan has an important thing to share about there perfectly. But these are my insights here.
Yeah, that's great, Swami. Appreciate that. So we have some different examples highlighted here. One is our smart blister check solution for clinical trials and adherence monitoring. So we've designed a special inlay using an XP NHS chip with traces to each individual blister on the pill pack. This gives us a timestamp of when each medication is removed from the blister pack. You can also record this same information with a smartphone or handheld device in a patient room, for example, and export it into a patient record. So this same technology can be kind of modified or used to detect if packaging has been corrupted or altered by incorporating these tamper-based designs into the packaging. So instead of having a product that gets sent out into the market and you have really no information about how it was used, if it's being altered somewhere or somehow, you have the ability to check this before using the drug to do all the necessary checks. Is it within compliance of your system? Is it the correct item for this patient, and so on. We'll talk some more about some of the sensing capabilities of tags in some of the later slides.
So Lauren, I would simply describe what is the background of this use case, moving from our solutions to real use cases which are in the market right now. So with this Spoken RX product or project, we received the request from the market, from CVS Pharmacy, that there are a lot of people actually who have challenges in more or less identifying the product or the pharmacy which they have in their hands. Means they get a pill box, they get another pill box, and at the end of the week they have like the whole table at home full of those pill bottles. And then they would like to identify what they actually need to take, but they cannot really read out what it says on the label of the product, because it's simply written too small, or they are so strongly visually impaired that they cannot read the product anymore. So that's this was more or less the starting point and the challenge, the issue which CVS had. And Lauren will now give a short introduction to the solution, what was developed using NFC technology.
Yes, Stefan, like you mentioned, for low vision and blind patients, being able to decipher printed drug information is a challenge. So we've worked on an NFC smart tagging solution for prescription bottles. Patients can interact with the drug to have the instructions audibly delivered through their smartphone app or through a separate speaker device that reads the NFC tag. This allows the patient to know what medication they're taking and how much and how often to take it. It gives them information about how to contact the pharmacy. It gives caregivers peace of mind that a loved one can access the needed information when they need to, and that they know which drugs they're taking and when they're taking them. And this is all commissioned within the pharmacy, and it opens up a lot of new possibilities for incorporating NFC and other technologies at the pharmacy level, and then really improving the patient safety. CVS is making this available to patients at no charge.
Yeah, we have a really brilliant use case in order to tackle the difficulty in healthcare and pharma, to give good care to wounds and to monitor how the healing process is going on. So the challenge here was, again, staff shortages. Normally, if there is a wound, if a patient has a wound, he needs to invest a lot of time in making appointments, going to the doctor. Doctor needs to uncover the wound, look at it, make a diagnosis, and then more or less change the treatment, for example. And we see a lot of time being invested simply in the same processes every day. And we need simply new ideas on how we can reduce the time that is needed for wound care and for checking up with wounds, how they process in healing. And this was the starting point of a development on our side. And Lauren, can you give us some insights on what actually is possible nowadays with RFID?
Yeah, so you can take even a step back from this and just look at monitoring of the patient with NFC or BLE-based temperature logging labels, designed for skin contact. So for a parent that wants to monitor a child's temperature and set off alerts to warn in the instance of a possible febrile seizure, this can be done to monitor those circumstances and report back so that you get those alerts. The same thing can be done to monitor healing under the bandage and indicate the presence of infection based on temperature. This could be especially important for a burn care patient, for example, who are at higher risk of infection. There's also interesting proof of concept developments that for multi-component assemblies that would incorporate a PCB, a microcontroller, oscillators that actively monitor the temperature of the wounds and respond with electrical stimulation to increase the healing process and white blood cell population. So these are still in the early stages, but you can see kind of the history of temperature monitoring and how it's progressing into a more advanced solution for use within the healthcare facility.
So the third example which we want to give is targeting the home care and self-treatment development, which is in the market ongoing. So more and more people face the fact that they are in need or they are forced to administer some medication from injectors on their own at home. So this is always connected with some complexity. Did I fill in the right medication? Did I configure the injector in the right way? And these are more and more challenges, or this is increasing the responsibility the patients have at home, as I initially already talked about. So fact is, we have a lot of patients who are now facing the challenge that they need to get the injection done themselves. And there's a lot of risks connected with this. And we developed a really nice solution around syringes, prefilled syringes, and NFC to support this very difficult situation some patients find themselves in right now. Lauren, can you give us the solution a little bit?
Yeah, this technology is so interesting. So using a capacitive sensing designed to determine the status of drug delivery, has it been dispensed or not? This is useful for patient groups that require strict adherence to drug schedules and monitoring. We can deploy this same technology to monitor the fill level of bottles and containers to assist workers when it's time for a replacement or refill, or to automate the process with smart shelving that triggers a reorder when a container is low or missing. So you have a lot of implications here. Is the patient adhering to the drug schedule that they're supposed to? Is it being billed correctly? Are we able to determine if this drug has been administered or not? And then also the same technology can be used within the supply chain and inventory management program to really assist workers. We're in a world where we have AI assistants and everything else. So being able to have extra eyes and ears where you can't be is super helpful. And the nice thing here too is that the NFC and HF readers are, again, pretty low cost to implement. So this can be outfitted pretty quickly, with kind of minimal programming as a really interesting solution.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lauren. That's kind of and that's where really we also see the value. And from a healthcare consortium, as a beginning I mentioned, we are working from entire value chain stakeholders, from suppliers, drug manufacturer, distributor, healthcare providers. And we have noticed the smart packaging is really impacting at the triangle, the government and industry sector, and the both are working for a patient-centric efforts. And the smart packaging really connect all the three bodies together. The first one is, as we all work for a patient-centric, and the connected health is a bigger thing, and it's every individual, including myself. I have 2 kids, and we all like to make sure it's we are having enough information digitally. And it's kind of if it's for the smaller kids, but when it goes to the elderly people, so they all want to make sure is the medication adherence. So whether it's any kind of adverse drug reactions or drug information, or maybe it's medication adherence, all these factors, it's very closely tied with the smart packaging solution and the real-time data. It's helping and it's giving more information to the patients at the right time and when they need it. So this is the one from a patient perspective, and also from a product integrity. In US, it's not the, I think the last case was 2012. There was a counterfeited product in the drug supply chain, but it's still like it's a global issue. And it's not really a product integrity from a counterfeited product, but from a perspective of it's expired products. And there's a FDA and the other agencies, they are taking measures on the Drug Supply Chain Security Act, but it's the product is still like it's not expired, but at least it giving them an information. Or means when I purchased and when I kept those, when I keep those drugs in my case, like I want to make sure before I use how the smart packaging is going to help me or augmenting things to giving more comfort. Yeah, this drug is about to expire in 10 days, or it's probably expired a week ago, rather than a small fine prints on the bottom of the drug, which is where I need a smartphone to take a picture and zoom it or lens. So these kind of it's augmented and better user-centric solutions the smart packaging offer. And importantly, it's this is not from a patient, but when you look at from a hospital, healthcare providers, it's a huge process. The drugs are about to expire, or it's expired. There's a several process involved, and these smart packaging solutions giving a more business benefit, and also it's helping them to be an update on their inventory system. The data shows the inventory systems of the healthcare providers who are not using a smart solutions, they are somewhere around 70 to 75%. If they started using these kind of a smart solutions, it is increasing up to 95%. The 25% increase in the inventory control, it's the healthcare providers are going towards this kind of a smart solution, but they need a smart packaging. That's how there's a both the and the left hand and right hand can work together. The industry bringing a smart packaging solutions, and the healthcare provider, they implement the smart solutions like RFID cabinets or maybe other IoT based solution. So these kind of are really a needed solution to really make sure the healthcare providers, they meet the regulation compliance. As a very beginning, one of my slide mentioned, it's controlled substances. And Axia is closely working with one of the leading anesthesia drug manufacturer. They are having an item level tagging. And the reason the tagged solution, like the anesthesia drug, it's been properly going to the patients and after it's disposed. So these kind of a compliance thing, the smart packaging will be the best solution. Then we look at the third level as from an industry automation and visibility. If the industry, the manufacturer and distributor, if they want to implement an automated system, then these kind of a smart packaging solution is that's one of the best solution to make sure their products, they're doing the aggregation or maybe then they are packaging, repackaging, it's heading into the right thing. And that's increasing efficiency by 35%, because it's now reduced workforce and they implement more automated solutions, because that's what the future is heading. And most of the adjacent industry, either automotive or other things, they all started using those kind of a robotic supply chain, like the solutions. So these kind of a smart packaging solutions really help to bring all other elements to improve their operational efficiency. And we can see the bottom graphics. Certainly, there's three things: compliance from the government agencies, whether it's expired drugs or recalls, you name it, anything. Certainly, smart packaging is the only solution it could be able to address. Then in a safety and a experience, because it's not only the drug expiration date or maybe the drug information, the patients need how to use it. So the smart packaging solutions will be able to help the patients how to use, because now more specialty products are out there. If it's those kind of a products requires a lot of instruction to the patients how to use the insulin injection or maybe some other specialty thing. So these are the information as a minimum expectation of the patients nowadays, and they cannot go and look for a YouTube videos. So the smart packaging solution will be adding those elements, then making sure that the patients are getting enough information. Then it's automation and visibility. Beyond automation, the drug is now going entire visibility, whether from a manufacturer to the healthcare provider. And all these things leads to a data. For a data for a government and a data for the industry, that's a drug manufacturer or the distributor or a healthcare provider. So the data is from an inventory system. So now the particular drug is out of stock. It's a time to order, automated ordering system. All these required. Then a patient, the data, because now we all using a MyChart and so many other digital tools. The data for already I am using a drug A, and I am going to use another drug. So these two drugs are not compatible. So immediately the digital solution will pop up. It's a time to consult your physician, your healthcare provider. These are an immediate things as the patients are going to get the benefits. So as a values of smart packaging, as Axia Institute, we have invested our time and effort, and we are bringing the parties together to really see what is an amicable solution and how can we bring the industry to the top notch and delivering a solution for a patient-centric efforts. And coming from a neutral third party in academic, I would like to, and I feel it's my bounden duty to share the audience an honest comparison for a smart packaging versus a non-smart packaging. Certainly, non-smart packaging, it's simple, 1D barcode or QR code, they are low cost. Just one-time print, already being implemented in the assembly line. So it's not going to add any additional cost. So it's really cheap. But when we see the things are moving now, it's towards a traceability. That's how much the non-smart packaging is adding value. That's kind of very low. Whereas the technology, IoT-enabled technologies, that's kind of giving a higher traceability. And from a manufacturer, even it's from a healthcare provider. So entire value chain, that's we are seeing a better traceability. Then, as I mentioned, 35% it's a reduced workforce. As the manufacturer wants to implement a new production line, they no need to go and hire another 300 employees. Now it's a time they can go do things with the 100 employees of the new production line, new drug line. Same thing with the healthcare provider. They can, if they want to establish additional patient facility with all the smart packaging solutions, now they can track things easily and they can run the operations in an efficient way. So these kind of increase in operational efficiency and we are leveraging a digital technology and to make the products are more integrated, like more trusted and delivering right things to the patients and across the channel. And all about now we are in the world of CX, customer experience, and all the digital technologies. So patient experience, that's a critical one. And you can see the simple like a data in 200 drug recalls in 2023. And the smart packaging, that's we all know, that could be easy to handle and giving an update to the patients. Those who are using, it's a time, please return the drug. So that's really a needed solution for the future as we are moving. And this is all as Axia feels that's a value to the community, value to the society. And so we are very glad to have partners like Identiv and all other tag manufacturers and also the other agencies. So certainly, I think that's all my last bullet here.
All right, and that is the end of our presentation here. If you would like to reach out to any of our speakers, their information is listed here on the screen, and then we will move into the Q&A part of our presentation here. We'll start off with a first question we have here. I heard that not all RF frequencies can be used globally. What do I need to take care of if my product is distributed globally?
Since this is a transformative topic, more or less, I can tell. Yes, it's true. So certain frequencies are not allowed in certain areas in the world. However, when, for example, using NFC, the 13.56 megahertz, they are globally allowed to be used. When going to long-range UHF solutions, we have to be a little bit more looking into the details, because in Europe, for example, we are using more the lower band or the lower area of the band. In the US, we are around 900 megahertz, and in some parts in Asia, like Japan, we are using the upper part of the frequency band. So that's where we need to consider where will products be used at the end. But normally, there's always a solution for like any use case. Yeah.
And then another question we have here is, do you also offer reader hardware and support and software integration?
So from Identiv side, we do support in these areas. We do not manufacture hardware on our own. Software we can support partly with our platform, but normally this is always like using the network and some partners in order to get the solution done.
Our next question here is, can you solve multiple challenges at the same time?
Yep, certainly. I'll take this question, team, because as I'm seeing the value chain challenge, it's multiple problems, certainly multiple challenges from from a manufacturer perspective, distributor perspective, then a healthcare and a patient. So there is this smart packaging solution address multiple challenges from visibility, traceability, connected health, and even a digital inventory and so many other things. So that's why its value. It's not like it's adding only one benefit, then who's really going to get the benefit? It's not. The smart packaging solution, it's a value across the value chain. It's the entire stakeholders in the system, the ecosystem, seeing the benefits. So it's not it solves only one problem. And when it goes to the futuristic, and as we want more connected drugs, like connected cars, we will be having these kind of solutions coming future, and this will be a more best and systematic approach for the most of the problems as we see today.
And then our next question here is, what is Axia's involvement within smart packaging?
Great, thanks. And I think this is time I would like to promote Axia. And Axia is a neutral third party, and we are having an RFID, NFC, all the tagging solution testing, and we are especially developing testing rates for pharma products. And we are closely working with as an anesthesia manufacturer, and we are closely working with the AIM, RAIN RFID, kind of really making sure what is coming, what is the right thing. Is the RFID, all these kind of technology solutions are not new, already been implemented in a different industry with the required grades. But for pharma industry, what is the right? And what is the tag manufacturer has to make sure they are meeting the standard? For example, the most of the drugs within the vial, the liquid, are maybe in syringes and the blister packages. So how the tag works for these things? So these are the efforts and Axia is heading, and we are closely working with the manufacturers, solution provider, tag supplier, as well as the agent or the service provider like AIM, RAIN RFID, those kind of folks, to make sure we have a right standard for the pharma industry, and we have enough testing as a neutral third party. We are not a profit, and we are not going to test for someone. We are unbiased. We do a test, and we make sure the product meets the requirement of the industry. So Axia is certainly here the audience. If anybody a tag supplier, tag provider, or the healthcare provider, or the drug manufacturer, we will be glad and happy to support and understand your needs, as we would like to have you in our ecosystem. We have an open consortium We welcome the manufacturers to healthcare, everybody to join us and share your feedback and insight, your problems. I personally love to hear the problems, and always I teach my students in MSU the problems are not problems, problems are opportunities. So with that, certainly Axia, we are very much interested and excited to hear from the audience. If you have any problem, please ping us.
All right, and our next question here is, how long does it take from identifying a challenge to implementation?
Can take this again. So this always depends on the challenge and what exactly is needed. But implementation into a pharmaceutical product, for example, can take quite long, actually, with all the certifications needed, depending on which area in the world you want to release it or offer it. So, but normal from the technical side, from identifying a challenge to implementing a solution, normally can take already just like 8 to 10 weeks for having a prototype.
And then our next question here is, how does your solution help with waste reduction and sustainability?
I can take that one. So we've talked about tighter inventory control, information on expiration dates, locations of goods within the supply chain, and how we can help to reduce the waste and out of stock items. So much like in the food supply chain, there's too much waste in the healthcare and pharmaceutical supply chain. We also have the issue of exceptions management and process challenges, where if you have a digital identifier, it can help to track and identify if a specific item or a case within a shipment is incorrect, and quarantine that and expedite that process so that there isn't so much time spent and energy spent on managing this supply chain and really digitizing it. Another opportunity is to supplement with the paper instructions that are included with pharmaceuticals and digitize this information in a more digestible manner that is organized through an app or web-based experience. So those will be a couple ways. Other ways are using paper substrates and printed inks and this kind of thing.
And then another question we have here is, what feedback have you received from patients regarding their experiences with self-management through your technology?
Actually, this will be, I think, Identiv, one of your spoken RX one, but maybe after Identiv's, I can add a little more insight. So first, I let the Identiv team speak for this.
I'll quickly answer that one. I think the drug companies are typically receiving that data, and then they're formulating their own internal plans on their market strategies and how they communicate with patients based on that data. That's data that we're not typically handling on our side. We're just facilitating the flow of that information and the communication between the two.
Yeah, then it's so thanks, Lauren. And I'm adding totally a different perspective when they are in a healthcare, like hospitals. So this kind of it's smart packaging and connected within a specific patient. Usually some of us might have noticed the patients having with a little wristband with the RFID tags or something. So we know the patient's going through different stages with scanning or maybe a blood testing. But end of the day, if they are assigned to a specific drug, that's kind of really they are because more confident, and that's because they don't need to worry. This is the patient when they check in and the doctor prescribe the medications. And when I talk to a couple of the healthcare providers and those who are implemented this kind of a solution, they see the patients, the families of the patients. So they are feeling more comfortable as they see everything digitally they can view. And there is no medication error because these kind of a digital technologies reduce 50% of the medication errors. That's the report from FDA. Yeah, so the answer to you, that's certainly as a personally myself, we all love the digital way we can digitally see, we make sure it's this is a drug going to me. And when they use the smart packaging, when they scan, it's exactly linked with the particular patient. So that's really a right thing. And most of us really, we would like to have those kind of a solution. But only thing is it takes some time to bring smart packaging and a smart solution in a healthcare segment. But I think this is everybody's love to have such a solution.
All right, and then we have our last question here. What future advancements are you most excited about in the realm of smart health technologies?
Solution provider or from academic as a research body, I can start, but certainly means usually that is a role of an academic. We always think, what is the future? And because we never think whether it's, for example, like a lot of research happen with the blockchain, bringing a blockchain to the pharma, even though it's a really elephant to feed, but as an academic, and we see a couple of the countries that's been trial and being used. So these kind of a futuristic way evaluating technologies and what is the new check. For example, AI. How can we connect the AI and smart packaging? Axia is working on it, certainly. So these kind of a thing is going to be a futuristic, and not only smart packaging, even beyond smart packaging. How we can bring the latest and the greatest, because we always need to update ourselves in a technology. And when I teach the classroom kids, Blockbuster versus Netflix, the Blockbuster, am I correct? They really updating the technology is important to be top on the meeting the customer demands, our customer expectation, customer preference. So it's the future. We need to be on understanding what is the technology. For right now, it's AI. How can we bring the AI and the pharma's the smart packaging solution to really the industry? And also all the things are the one underlying where is the patient care. Is that anytime, anywhere, how can we make sure the patients are getting the right thing? And how can we provide a patient-centric solution? So any new technologies, I think as an academic, we always evaluating. If the audience, anyone who is having a different ideas or technologies, we love to hear.
All right, and that's the end of our Q&A session. I want to thank our speakers as well as the Axia Institute and Identiv for helping with this webinar today. If you have any questions for AIM, you can reach out through the information listed on the screen. Thank you, everyone.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And if there are any more questions that come through, we will follow up with those after this.